Alright everyone, this is a guide for my team that I'm coaching to help with some wording. My apologies, I'm a little sick right now, so I sound like a filthy mouth breather. Yeah, it's pretty tragic. Anyway, so this is going to be a guide for some wording to help you cover some points that don't always get covered, and it's just to give you more maximal use of your wards, because you can only play so many at a time. So it's really important to cover this. Let's see. Let's speed up the time a little bit, just because I don't really want to hear the game the whole time. Alright. So, first things first. If, let's say, you're blue side, the most common thing you're going to see when you're warding is one here,
just a harmless flower,
and one here. Or if you're in lane, sometimes you'll see the lane bush. That's really only good if there's someone with a pull or someone you're trying to go in on. But these wards are the ones that are the problem. Most everyone uses these, and these are just simply not enough warning. Now, I realize in certain ELOs, not everybody uses the minimap, so sometimes the wards can feel useless because people don't actually bother to look at the bottom of their screen.
so much more to
But
see.
a bad habit should never excuse another bad habit being formed. These wards simply don't give enough. They don't do enough for you. The more advanced warning you have, the better off you are. So if we're bot lane, blue side support, like I am right now,
Garden.
much better than the tri-bush is one right here. Normally you're going to want a pink ward for something like this bush, because you want it to last as long as possible. It's going to give you the entrance to the jungle. It's going to help out your mid laner, or someone's trying to gank off the bank here, like a Zac or like a Kayn who's trying to use the actual wall. But this just helps out so many more members of your team beyond just your lane. When it comes to wards, they can't be greedy.
Such a
There's
busy
not enough of
world.
them to go around for them to really be greedy. Unless everyone's pink warding like they should be, but let's be honest, that doesn't usually happen unless it's in a competitive scene. If you're going to ward this particular bush, another one to go along with it, right here in front of the jungle, in front of the enemy entrance to the jungle, you get the ramp, people coming down. If someone can hop a wall over, like let's say there's a Fizz that's an asshole and he can just pole over to the wall, you can see them coming in here. You can see someone trying to solo dragon. You see someone coming down the river, so you don't actually have to worry about waiting until it's too late and they're already in the bush. This just gives you the most coverage you can get with the most advanced warning that's actually useful for more than just your lane. Additional note, if you're dealing with, say, a Zac or a Kayn, right here, you want the ward right around here, because you want to be as far out as you can while still getting a good look at the bank. If you have a ward here that you can put like that, please, please, please take out this blast cone. If you take out the enemy blast cone while you're blue side, this will save you so much trouble.
Such a busy world.
As a Kayn or a Zac, the reason why you want to defend against them in this way, they can go through this wall. If it's Zac, he can leap over the damn cliff. And you want to make sure that you're protected in a way that's useful. The wards right here simply do not give you enough. So try to get out of the habit of that. When you're warding the enemy jungle, let's say you see jungle ganking top, and your bot lane is either gone or you've killed them or what have you. Right here, you want to try to get this corner as best you can, because as you can see, when I walk away, you get a lot out of it. You get the entrance up here, you can see this side coming in, you can see them walking out. If you'd rather have a little bit more coverage, a little bit more centralized, here is also fine. It lets you see farther up, more advanced warning, always good. Another option you have is right around here. I saw a video on this one that I was a little skeptical at first, but whenever I started using it, it's actually pretty useful. You see someone taking their wolves, and you can see them coming over into the lane. They could either be going to go take over that side of the jungle, but if your jungler has been checking on their jungle, sees everything's gone, you know that they're not going to be going over there to get stuff. They might be coming up for a lane gank or after they clear the camp, they might come down this way. The more you see of the enemy, the more coverage you get of the jungler, the more you can see what they can actually accomplish. Because one of the big issues is not having enough information to create an actionable course or an actionable decision. So like top lane might have had the opportunity to go in, but they're too afraid jungler might be there. These kinds of wards to see where they're going to be gives them that freedom. It gives them that kind of levity. If you're blue side and you need a ward to go up, another really good place, especially if you're a mid laner should really be taking care of this. A pink ward right there will save your life. Some people like the bush here. River bush is great. River bush covers a lot of stuff, but it gets cleared really easily. Most people know to check the pixel bush. If you are doing it up here, you get to see all of the river this way, and you still have a little bit more coverage, especially for your junglers, more protection. A lot of junglers have jumps, Kha'Zix, Kayn, Zac. Most junglers have some reliable form of movement. This is really good for seeing them coming in on the invade. Important rule when it comes to warding in bushes, always put it on the side you need to protect. So if you're, let's say, you're blue side, then you're probably going to want it somewhere around here. If you're on the red side, then you're going to want it where I put the pink ward there. You always want to make sure that your line of sight is like an outpost. You want it to see outward where it becomes dangerous. If it's too safe a ward, you're not going to get enough for it. When you could have put something more useful. That's not to say get in the habit of always putting wards in dangerous places. Know when you can go. Know when it's possible for you to go there and safe. If you need an escort, ask for an escort. But make sure that when you're using your bushes, you're putting them... It's not enough for it to just be in the bush. It has to be in the right spot in the bush. The difference between a good ward and a great ward is a pixel. And what it can see, how far it can reach in its sight line, does a lot more for you. Also, for mid laners, please, 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 please. That is lazy. Don't do that. Do not. Don't do that. It's fine at lower elo, but once you get up, you're gonna need something a little bit more useful. If you're blue side, you're gonna want to ward something right there. Well, you also want it to get in the bush and not be a total like junk ward. But if you're on red side and you want to cover it, then right there, coming onto the entrance right there, you want to see more. You don't want to see the doorway. You want to see the hallway to the door. And especially for junglers like Zac or like Kayn. Kayn in particular, because he'll use this to get all the way over to gank you if you're on red side and you're not careful. That's really important. If you're blue side, you want to ward in. This is a great spot for a ward. Well, actually, I like it a little bit farther forward. If you're worried about someone jumping over, that's also a great spot. The really important thing is the entrances of the jungle give you a lot of information. And they give you a lot of freedom in recognizing, hey, I see someone here, then obviously they're not going to be able to go to this other side. If you're deep warding, let's say you're sieging right here and you're playing support, and you guys want to take the first tower. Right here, great. I prefer the bush here because you get to see someone coming around there. You get to see someone coming into the bird pit. If you don't have time, you're trying to siege and you just want to get it over the wall, like for a Kha'Zix or an Amumu or things like that, then that's fine because it's serving its purpose. But it's just not giving you as much as you could be. If you're warding on this side, make certain that you're getting the very edge. It lets you see a little bit further down the ways. It lets you a little bit more freedom to see straight down and straight up. Normally, anywhere you're putting the ward here, it's going to see up this way, but this cliff can block a lot if you're not careful.
Such a busy
and
world.
extending it out a little further lets you see much more than it would if you were up against the wall. Again, people really like that bush also if they're uncertain. It's a great starter ward if you're not really sure, but you know people use the river a lot. You know, use it. That's fine. But this will get cleared quite a bit, especially since people are going to be fighting over things like Scuttle. you're just not going to get as much out of this ward unless someone's really just kind of being blind, deaf, and dumb, and they're not checking the ward.
Careful steps.
Top laners, if you are trying to ward for yourselves, just like in the mid lane case, that is lazy. Lazy, lazy, lazy. You need more advanced warning than just that. If you are able to ward, say, here, or even better, if you could put something around here, if someone already has the scuttle on the enemy side, say, or scuttle's not up yet, you can see the entrance to Rift Scuttle. You can also see someone coming in on this side of the jungle. If someone's walking in here and you know there are buffs to take, you can go help your jungler defend. Or you know there's nothing to take, so you know they're coming in to gank you. You don't have to worry about wasting a ward there. This bush does not do anything. This is a very greedy bush. Now, if you're worried about the immediate someone's in the bush, I need to check right now. Okay, go ahead and scout it if you have to, but it's just not going to give you as much out of it as you would, say, getting an entrance. For the same reason, warding jungle bushes is also problematic. You just don't get as much out of it. Now, obviously, you want to have a ward, but if it's someone who's really, primed to invade, a Shaco is not going to give a damn about this bush. A Lee Sin is not going to give a damn about this bush because they all have a way to get to this buff without having to be in the bush. Now, if you want to catch someone in the act with their pants down, yeah, the ward in this bush does that effectively, but it would be much better off if you had a ward somewhere like here that lets you see someone coming in rather than seeing them already at your buff when it could very well be too late. This kind of advanced warning gives you time to come react. Over here, if they're already taking it, they're already taking it. And if you're too far away, there's not a whole lot you can do.
Venture off the beaten path.
Similarly with the top lane, tri bushes are strange. Largely because their angles are strange. So, if I'm blue side on top lane, this bush is very useful. You can see someone coming up pretty well. You're going to want to be closer to this side than you would on this side. So you're going to want the ward somewhere around here. The reason for that, if you can put it a little higher to see a little bit more out of it this way, that's ideal. The reason for that is having a ward that focuses down into the river doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you already have one here. You're going to see where everyone's going to come from. The only real place you're not going to see it coming is a lane gank.
Turret plating will soon fall.
If someone is taking Krugs per se, then they can come in this way and come up that way for a gank. Or if they're coming around this way, this is why this corner is so useful. You get a little bit more warning about someone being right here and walking up. It's not great. If you want a deep ward for something like top lane, we'll cut on Ghost for the sake of expedience. Right here would be good. You really want this in this upper part of the bush. And the reason for that is you want to be able to see all the corners that you can. So obviously this stone is going to be blocking down here, but you get to see 4 paths into this jungle, and having that kind of vision is really useful. If you're too far right here, it's just cutting off too much. It's just taking away from the potential of your ward too much. You can also always ward enemy buffs if you want to see them catching it, if you're ready to invade. But again, seeing them a little further out coming in gives you more time to react. Then the ward just being right here, unless you're already lying in wait, it's not doing a whole lot for you. So give yourself the time to actually go for the objective, go for the goal that you're really looking for. Let's see. If we're, say, sieging, let's pretend we're red side and we're sieging over here. This bush gets contested a lot. Again, where you put the ward depends entirely on what team you're on and what it is you're looking for. If we're red side sieging over into blue, then you want the ward somewhere over here. You want to see this blast cone. You want to see when people are coming in a little bit closer. If we're on the blue side trying to defend, you want the ward over on this side. You want to get more out of it. You want your wards as outposts. The more you get to see, the better off you are. This bush also tends to have a lot of contests. Quite frankly, this bush, it's a little too late when you're warding it here. A lot of enemies will put wards here as an advance warning up this way. So a lot of people will like to put They'll like to put pink wards there for the sake of clearing enemy wards and that kind of thing. And counter vision is always important. I'll never say that's
Wait
not.
until my
But
seeds
if you're
take
really
root.
trying to make sure people are staying out, you want the ward in that bush. Or at the very least up here. Covering the ramp and covering the entrance.
So much more.
Same thing on this side. If you are trying to ward over here, if we're pushing into the base, you want to see people coming in and out. It never hurts to have one in this cross section. In this bush over here, and these same things are applicable on red side. They're largely identical on the map. Now, there are some points where it's stronger on blue side or stronger on red. But as far as the vision, for the elo we're talking about here, it's fine. This right here, you want to see again, if we're sieging into blue, you want to be able to see into this path. You want to see who can come out here. Now, you're not going to get everything out of this word. Like, there's going to be a small gray space, somewhat. That's being taken away because my plant's right there. So we'll go ahead and get rid of the plant for now. You're not going to see a whole lot because this plant's here. There's normally a gray patch right here. There we go. So you're not going to see someone right in this part. But if they're coming from this door and they're coming down, you're going to see them turn. You're going to know and be able to time it. If you see them coming up over here, you're going to see them coming. If you see them coming over here, you can plan something in the jungle to catch someone out. Again, always, always, always think of your wards as your vanguard. They're your outposts. Let them be as effective as possible. If you're protecting yourself, think about where the enemy wants to strike you from. Think about where they're able to leap from. If they have a lot of jumps, if they're super mobile, they're going to want to be able to use that and maximize that. Where can they jump at you from? If you want to protect your camps and catch someone out this way, that's also fine. This bush is moderately useful. Most people fight over vision in this bush when we're talking about Baron. But honestly, this bush will get you killed. This bush will get you killed very quickly if you're not careful about where you're warding and why you're warding it and what you're dewarding. Remember, the enemy will use wards to bait you. Do not be subject to those baits. If you die for the sake of a pink ward, that pink ward is not as useful as you are. You can buy another one. 75 gold isn't as much as 300 to the enemy.
My prey thinks itself clever.
That's about it for now. Some of the warding things are going to require more personalized answers for specific questions. But the foundations of warding, really just think of them as how can you get as much out of it as possible.
Steps.
All right. See you later. Oh, and once again, sorry I sound like a filthy mouth breather. I'm kind of sick.